I just want to say thank you to Gauri. Your words always bring more peace into my world. And I want to echo thank you all for coming. Our Kootenay Lake Chamber of Commerce has always been a really active voice in transportation issues in our area. And we've been very surprised by some of the events of the past couple weeks. The intention of this meeting is to share the information about the Kootenay Lake Ferry system and to communicate with our community and brainstorm the future, not to point fingers about the past. The other intention is to let everyone know we, the community, we have a really strong voice in these negotiations too. There are lots of other things to talk about in our community, but this meeting is focused on the ferry. We have a lot of speakers here today, and our plan is to have everyone share their information and then at the end have a question and answer period. So please hold your questions to the end. It's important that we, the community, are part of the discussions. We have an important voice as the taxpayers, the main users, and dependents on the ferry system. We believe our community and the crews that sail our ferry are actually the two most important voices. I've talked to a lot of people in a lot of different levels, the union, Western Pacific Marine, the government, a lot of our community over the last couple of weeks, and I really believe in principle we're all on the same page. We just don't have enough communication out there to move forward in the directions that we need. So there's two parts to what we want to communicate today. The first is the Kootenay Lake Advisory Committee, and the other is we want to share the current labor situation with our community. So the Kootenay Lake Ferry Advisory Committee is the contract between, it's in the contract between Western Pacific Marine and the government. It's a committee that I think is supposed to be spearheaded by Western Pacific Marine with community representation from both sides of the lake, Ministry of Transportation, Regional District of Central Kootenay, the Chamber of Commerce, union representation, and crew representation, and who else is supposed to be on it, I'm really not sure. But it's a committee that discusses all opportunities and challenges with the ferries, brainstorming solutions, and communicating with our communities before issues become problems. The community, crew, or anyone could write any ideas to this committee where they could discuss, ask questions, and could implement things in a timely manner if there was agreed upon. For example, one of the ideas that's come forward to a lot of us is to start the Balfour earlier in the year, go back to the May to October sailing, or start the Balfour a ferry sailing earlier in the day. So instead of having a later sailing, have an earlier one. But these ideas can go to this committee where it can be talked about and then implemented, because I think communication is where we're lacking in. So this committee should help solve a lot of that. So the great news on this is James from Western Pacific Marine has asked for our input on organizing this committee for the future. Garry Jackman, who has a lot of knowledge, good ideas, and was on the committee years ago, has agreed to talk to Western Pacific Marine about the forming of the committee. The tentative date we've set for the first Kootenay Lake Advisory Committee ferry meeting is the last week of October. The reason it's so long is because it's at the end of the election, and the committee is the key to the successful future of our ferry system. So we're really, really excited to see this positive step for our future happening. So that's issue number one. On to our current issues. So as a community, it was brought to our attention on August 5th that there was a BC Government and Employees Union information session scheduled that would include discussion of a strike vote before our season ends. We had no idea that discussions and negotiations were having any sort of hurdles until then. So we've heard absolutely nothing until all of a sudden a strike is being considered. We feel it's the lack of communication between the government, Western Pacific Marine, BC Government and Employees Union, the crews, and the community. Communication is the root of our problem. 5 years ago, during the last ferry contract negotiations, there was a ferry strike. We had no ferry on Labor Day weekend. I believe the last sailing was Friday at 4:30 and no ferry until Tuesday morning. And after that, our essential service was only deemed to be 2 sailings a day. It was horrible for our community, and it went on for weeks. It was stressful for everyone. There were seniors sleeping in their cars in Trail because they couldn't get to their doctor's appointments. There were kids that couldn't get to school, workers that couldn't get to work. So if there's a strike, it's our community that's going to be hurt the most. So we want to talk about how we as a community can help support a fair and timely contract for the crews that run our ferries. And we want them to say no to a strike. Their contract ended on March 31st of last year. There's been very little communication with them from anyone. So of course, there's frustration on all parties. So to talk a little bit about the crew, which I'm not sure if we have any crew, I know Annette's running away, but hi Annette, any other crew here, but we want to talk about the crew a little bit. They're all really good people and they're part of our community. Most of them say they don't want to strike either. We want their jobs to be some of the best in the area that can financially support their families and goals with a positive work-life balance. We want high morale and properly trained crew on the ship. The crews are some of the greatest ambassadors to the Kootenays. Last year, a working group of locals put together a comprehensive package outlining the ask for extended service. There are so many reasons we need more hours of ferry service. We deserve to have more access to emergency care, access to sports, arts, and culture activities for all ages, medical appointments. It really is part of our road system. We need it to be reliable and we need it to be stable. We put a lot of research and work into the package. We had a huge petition of support from our community and many, many, many letters of support. We presented it on the ferry to Brittny Anderson on September 11th, 2023, in the presence of the crew, the community, and Western Pacific Marine. We felt it was a really great day. The benefit of the crew on this is day-for-day service. Currently, the crews work 6 on, 3 off. To me, it sort of sucks for a work-life balance having that kind of hours. If they worked longer shifts, they could do day-for-day service, and I think the crew is hoping for 7 days on, 7 days off. This is the schedule that the ferry used to run on. This schedule would also be an attraction to recruit and retain new crew, which in this day and workforce we all know is important, which is also a win for Western Pacific Marine, another attraction to help recruit and retain a strong workforce. The BCGEU and Western Pacific Marine are negotiating the next 5-year contract right now. Extended service for our community and day-for-day service for our crews should be on the table. And when speaking to Mike Fenton is the BCGEU staff representative for the union, I just spoke to him on Friday, and he let me know that day-to-day service the union has put in this contract as they expect it to be reinstated by January 1st. This would give our community extended service. Western Pacific Marine has stated they cannot agree to this without the direction and funding from the government. So Brittny, you've been really supportive and really vocal, and you've been really available to our group on this initiative, and for that we're really, really grateful, and we really thank you. We're counting on you to give us the direction and connect us with the proper people who can speed this up. And we're very hopeful that someone in the government is working on this, and it actually won't take more than a few weeks to figure it all out. Before September 19th preferably, because we heard there's something happening on September 19th. If all parties jumped on board to research and talk about this and get all the information on the table and support it, it may not be unrealistic to get this done by September 19th. Our crews deserve a contract. We deserve a stable, reliable ferry service. So Western Pacific Marine who I'm really excited to see the representation we have here today. It's a relatively new management team, of which James is representing, and Mo and Joey are here as well. And I don't believe any of you guys were here at the last strike. But your team does seem really well received by a lot of the crew that we've talked to, and even the union. Most are agreeing that the right things are being said in this conversation. But part of the issue with the new team is we don't have the history to see if you walk your talk. So we're asking that Western Pacific Marine walk rather quickly. With each step you take backing up what you say, there'll be more confidence in the team at Western Pacific Marine. So I don't think there's any crew representation here today. Am I wrong? No. Which is sad, but we will take this message back to the crew. And I guess to the crew, what we want to tell you is we think you understand that our community, more than anyone, will be hurt by a strike. Like you and your colleagues, it's our lives, it's not just our wallets. I know that labor negotiations is a closed door process, but maybe we need to open those doors more, work together to accomplish common goals. As I said to Mike Fenton, the union rep, and to many, we feel really blindsided by the discussion of a strike. So we as a community are asking for more time where the government, Western Pacific Marine, the union, and the crews all know that we're pushing for day-for-day service for them and extended service for us, but no strike vote. Progress has been made since the community has been made aware, and we've been pushing from our end. There's been a few discussions between Western Pacific Marine and BCGEU, and we understand there's a date set for this week for further bargaining and a follow-up date set as well. And through Brittny, we've asked the Ministry of Transportation, where is our community request for additional service? We've had productive conversations with our MLA, Western Pacific Marine, the union, and lots of the crews. And most importantly, as we can all see from the turnout today, our community has a really strong voice, and we do intend to be heard in this conversation. Decisions regarding our lives, our economy, and our well-being should include our voice too. So let's work together, open the communication, talk to the crews, get talking going, ask them, and let's all look for a win-win solution for everybody. And so now I'm going to invite a couple of speakers up to give further input, but that's all I have to say.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for, first of all, give us an opportunity to join this event here, sections. So basically for us is we are coming here to serve your community for this smooth and efficient transportation, part of the highway essential service. So as you may be aware of that, as a new management for me is only I just joined in May 1st here. So I'm replacing Captain Brian Cove for this position and overseeing this operation here. And my colleagues here, Mo and Joey, and thank you very much for them as well, because they are the integral part of scheduling this crew to run the ships efficiently without disruptions. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself as I have my background as a Transport Canada for federal government, with the senior inspector and director for the last 25 years. And I work at the Marine Safety and Marine Security. And last year I was in the Ontario government ferries in north of Toronto, and this area for Director of Safety and Compliance. And with my passion, I just come here to join Western Pacific Marine, that what I can help. This is my goal. First of all, I like to be clear that I'm working as a management position, but I feel myself, I'm a part of the crew. So basically, I work as a team here, and the whole crew on the ships and the office and everyone is my team. And I want to listen to everyone, including crew, communities, and everything that your concern and your needs, what I can do for you, and what we can do as a team to make it smooth sailing, without disruption. So that's why this is a very good opportunity for us to listen here. And also, you all know that our office is right here in Balfour site, and our office is always welcome to everyone in the community to come up to say hello, and if any concern, immediate issues that we want to help out, please, by all means, we are always here for you. Okay, so I think that's about it for us. That maybe I can leave it for some question answer parts later on. Then maybe I can explain more of what you need and what questions you may have. Okay, thank you very much all.
So, Brittny, do you want to speak now? And for sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brittny Anderson. I am the MLA for Nelson Creston, and I'm also the Premier Special Advisor on Youth and the Parliamentary Secretary for Tourism. So when I think about the ferry, I'm not only thinking about it from the community perspective, but also from that overall general tourism perspective within that role as well. The first thing that I just want to say is that Megan has been absolutely incredible in this entire process. Megan is not getting paid to bring the community together. Megan's not getting paid to have all of these conversations with all of these people on a regular basis. And what she has been able to do in terms of reaching out to everyone and taking an approach that it's not us versus them, it's not union versus like the whoever has the contract, WMP, it's not this side of the community versus that side of the community. We're all one community. We all want the same things. We want to be able to get to work and school and medical appointments and just to do fun things, right? Like we want to be this, we need this ferry to work. And we need better service. We want to make sure that the crews are well supported, that they're able to have good paying jobs, that they're able, which they do, and that they're able to have a balance in life so that they can have a life that, talking to some of the ferry crews, which I'll also say have been absolutely incredible over these last 4 years, and really getting to know them and some of the challenges that they will face. And I'll say one of the days this summer I went on to the ferry and I was invited up. And I was talking with one of the captains, and they were showing me that they were concerned that they weren't going to have enough workers because it looked like they were short. And so he was showing me this, and I was like, what, do you want me to take a picture and send it to the minister? He was like, yeah, can you do that? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. So I sent it to the minister, and I sent it to his chief of staff. And I just said, I'm concerned, like we really need this service, explained it, like they should know, they're the Ministry of Transportation, but coming from a rural area, I feel like it's always really good to explain how important this is. Explain that if you live right here, if you're Megan at Ladybug and you have a doctor's appointment in Nelson, how much longer it is going to take you to get to that appointment, or if you're a student, or if you just want to go see a friend, or go get groceries. Like this is a way longer trip, and this is absolutely essential when both sides of the ferry are really all a part of our community. And so the chief of staff reached out to me and she said, okay, we're on it. Literally, that was just the message, we're on it. I'm like, okay, sweet. They communicated with WMP and they said, yeah, no, they've got their, because I asked about the training schedule and their actual schedule, like, are we going to be able to make it through the summer without any disruptions? And so they said, yeah, it was going to be fine. And then a few weeks later, we found out that they were going to be running the Belfer because of a shortage of staff. And so then again, and I found this out because I think my partner saw something on Facebook, which, if you're trying to get a hold of me, please don't try to get a hold of me via Facebook. It's absolutely impossible to manage. You can't look at all the Facebook pages, but you can email my office. You can call my office. I have jar grippers right here. When you can't open a jar, it has my phone number on it. It has my email on it. Also, if you hear something in town, Megan has my cell phone number. Megan can text me. Megan texts me lots, and I really appreciate Megan. She texted me today, are you on your way? Because I was 2 minutes late. So there are ways to reach me. Garry also has my cell phone number. You can go through Garry. And I have a direct link into the minister's office. The piece that Megan said about the 19th, which is when the writ drops, so there's government still works. Like, it's not like, obviously the ferry will still be going and classrooms are still in session, but government decisions aren't being made during the election period. I don't know what it means for that contract negotiations, and it will depend on if things have to go to, say, Treasury Board or not. It will depend on the process, and I'm just not clear. That is very sort of micro level and compared to what I do, but we can find that information out. I would say, and Garry can back me up on this, that government moves slow. If I could promise you, like, by September 21st, it will all be figured out, we'll have extended service, I can't do that, and I don't want to pretend that I can. What I can do and what my job is to listen to all of you and to represent your voice to the minister, to the minister's office, and to the premier. I will let them know. And by the way, when Megan did present the community's wishes to me on the ferry, I literally took that envelope, packed it in my suitcase, brought it to Victoria, walked it to Minister Fleming's office, put it on his desk, and said, like, this is what the community wants. And then we emailed it off, because Megan provided the electronic copy. We emailed it to him and his chief of staff. So they physically got the copy of your wishes, both the chief of staff and the minister. As Garry said, with unions, with strike votes, that is, unions are great benefits in our society. A lot of our employment laws, a lot of, the weekend, things we like the weekend, that was all because of unions. And, none of us want to see a strike. And so what Megan has said, by bringing everyone together and trying to make sure we can find a solution for everyone, that is what we're hoping for. But for my position, like for us in government, bargaining happens at the bargaining table. As MLAs, we cannot meddle in the bargaining discussions. When there are, the bus workers are striking in Vancouver, the amount of chaos it also creates for workers going to work, people accessing medical appointments, students getting to school, is very significant. And again, the MLA is not able to meddle in that. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear with what I can do for you and what I will do for you and what I have been doing for you and what is out of my hands. And lastly, I just want to say it is so great to see so many people out here from different areas in this beautiful region. And just for those of you who don't know, I do have a pretty strong connection to this area. My mother-in-law has a cabin just on Pilot Bay Road, and so this is my happy place. This is where I come when I need to decompress and to relax. And I also want that ferry service, because when I want to get over here, like, it's that's for me personally. I mean, it's also for work. I think I've taken probably 12 ferry trips in the last 2 weeks. But I just want you to know that I know how essential that is and how frustrating it is when the ferry's not working properly. So thank you, everyone. Really appreciate everyone that's able to be here today, and happy to ask questions. I'm sure it's more to WMP or Garry, but I'm also going to be here for a little while to chat and maybe to listen to some music. I don't know if the band's going to be playing, but again, I have the jar grippers if you want to know how to reach me. So thank you.